To begin, you're going to need a Christmas bauble. I'm using a gold satin finish one. You can use whatever you like. Mine measures 7¼ inches in circumference, which is about 18½ centimeters. We'll be using 6-pound test fire line and crystal. That's 0.15 millimeters. Size 12 beading needles. You only need one, but I usually have several on hand because I break them. You're going to need seed beads in size 11/0. These are gold, silver line, and they are Czech beads. 11/0 in red, silver line, and 6/0 in red, silver line. These are Czech beads, so they tend to be irregular. I want to try them, see what I could come up with. Remember, when you use irregular shaped ones, they're going to give you an irregular kind of organic feel to your project. Also, I needed some metal beads. These are by Blue Moon. They come in a 4 and a 6 millimeter in this pack. I'll only be using the 4 millimeter. You're going to need your focal bead. In this case, I'm using these red star ones. They are transparent, so you can see right through them. They're red and gold. And you're going to need a pair of scissors or a thread zap for your thread. And I'm working on a bead mat. Get your supplies together and we'll get started. To begin, I've threaded on about a arm's length of the fire line. And to get it on my needle, I like to run my fingernail along the end right there. And what that does is it flattens out the tip without having to use a pair of pliers, which you may or may not be able to find right off. And now, this is going to be a little weird, but I like to tie just one knot, not double knot, just one knot on the end. And what that does is keeps it from pulling off of your needle. You don't want to pull that off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up a multiple of 6 because we'll be using 6 focal beads in our project. So in my case, I will be picking up 30. So we're going to pick up alternating one gold 11/0, one red 11/0, one gold, one red. You're going to do that until you have a total of 30 beads on your thread. Now, when you get that done, double check and make sure it goes around the top of your bauble there. You want to make sure it goes over that. And when I get that done, I'll be right back. Alright, I've got my 30 beads on there, alternating gold, red, gold, red, gold, red, until I have 15 of each. And I've brought them down to the end of my thread there. And I'm leaving a bit of a tail, just long enough for me to rethread my needle on it at the end. And you notice I'm not using a lot of thread on this. That's because we're only going to be making the bottom here first. Okay, and I find this length a little bit more manageable in front of a camera. So we're going to make this, and then we're going to actually tie it off and then start again from the top. Okay, so that hopefully explains that. Now what you want to do is you're going to run your needle all the way back through all of these beads. Start at the tail end and just work your way back. Working in front of the camera is a little more awkward. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. Let's see what I'm doing here. Before I go all the way, I want to just double check, because what you do to the top, or what you do to the bottom, you're going to be doing to the top. So they match, and that works really well for the top of my bauble. So run your needle through and go all the way back around till you're just past, it doesn't matter where, just past that tail thread. Alright, I run my needle all the way back around. Sorry, it's a little out of focus there. Alright. You are exiting one of your seed beads. In my case, it's just a red one. It doesn't matter which. Right here. You're going to pick up alternating between your colors 7 11 knots. I went gold, red, gold, red, gold, red, gold. It's up to you what you want to do. This is where your creativity comes into play. You're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 and go through the 5th bead from where you're exiting in the first place. So go through there and you're going to form a little loop like that. Then you're going to pick up the same pattern of beads, so I'm going gold, red, gold, red, gold, red, and gold. And that 7 on your needle again. Pull them down. And once again, you're going to skip 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And go through the 5th one from where you're exiting. And you're going to continue that pattern all the way around for the rest of the round. Alright, I picked up my last sequence of beads. Once again, it's 7. Gold, red, gold, red, gold, red, gold. And I'm going to pass my needle through the first bead right here that I started these loops with. Like that. And pull it through. Make sure your tension is good here. Give it a nice snug pull there. And this is what you have. Alright. Now, I am coming out of that one. I'm going to pass up through the loop that I've made. If I can see what I'm doing. And go up until I'm coming out the middle bead, which is bead number 4 on the loop, which for me is a red one. Now I want to say something. If the top piece of your bauble is bigger than mine, sorry, I just dropped it, then as long as you keep a multiple of 6 or however many focal beads, I'm using 6, so I'm doing multiples of 6. If you want to do more, because your bauble's bigger, just keep it a multiple. So if you're doing 7 or 8, make the beginning circle a multiple of 7 or 8 or whatever it is you choose to do. Also, if you go bigger on your interior circle, the first circle, then you might want to make these loops bigger. Just keep it an odd number. So if it's bigger, you might want to, instead of doing 7, you want to do 9 or 11. Just keep it an odd number so that you have a center bead in which to exit from when you do the next round. Alright, to do the next round, we're going to pick up 9 seed beads. And we're going to go through the middle seed bead on each one. So for the first loop, you're going to pick up 9. Once again, I'm starting with gold, but this is up to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I have a sequence of alternating red and gold again, and I'm doing 9 this time. So I'm going to pass those down to the bottom. I'm going to look at the next loop, and I'm going to look for the middle bead, which is the 4th bead. In my case, it's a red. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to pass through that one and pull it tight. So what you have now is another loop, a little bit bigger than the previous ones. And you're going to repeat the same step all the way around. When you get back to the beginning, you're going to pass through the same loop right there, the same seed bead that you started your first loop in, which is this one right there. This red one right there. And I'll be back. Alright, I've picked up my last sequence of beads. Alright, it's a little fuzzy there. And I'm coming through this bead that I started my last loop with, right there. Started my last loop right here, or my first loop right here, coming through this seed bead, so I'm going to end right through that same seed bead. And you'll have something that looks like this. Each loop has 9 seed beads. Now here's where your creativity can really come into play. Perhaps you don't want to do like I did and use all 11 aughts. You could do 11 aughts and then do the middle one a 6-aught or an 8-aught. It's really up to your preference. You can do whatever you like. Now I'm going to pass all the way around through those beads again, and I'm going to tie off because we're finished with this little unit. We're going to make a second one exactly like it, and when you're finished with that, I'll come back to me. I'll have my second one done too. Alright, I've got 2 of these done, and as you can see, my thread is exiting the middle bead of this loop. So bead number 5 out of the 9. Since I'm exiting a gold one, I'm going to start with red on my original one. You can see right here. I was exiting a red one, so I started with gold. This is going to be entirely your preference. Since I'm doing every other one red and then gold and red alternating, I'm going to start with the red. If I can get it to focus, sorry about that. Since I'm exiting that gold one right there. So I'm going to pick up a red, a gold, sorry, a red, a gold, and a red. So I have 5 beads on. Then I'm going to pick up and it is gold round, a 6-aught red, sorry, and a gold round. So you have that, and slide those down. And I'm going to pick up once again a red seed bead, a gold, oops, put two on there, sorry about that, red, a gold, and a red, and bring that all the way down. So what you have is this, a red, if I can get it to focus, a red, a gold, a red, a gold and a red seed bead, then a gold 2mm, a red 6/0 and a gold 2mm round, and then once again you got the red, the gold, the red, the gold, and the red seed beads, and you brought all those all the way down. Now you're going to pick up one of your stars or your focal bead, and be very careful here, since this is the top of our ornament. I want to make sure that I'm going, I have my star bead, my focal bead oriented the right way. I don't want it to go this way on the ornament, I want it to go that way. And the first one doesn't matter, but all the rest will. So I'm going to go ahead and thread that one. All the way down. And I'm going to repeat what I did in the first place. So, a red, a gold, a red, a gold, and a red seed beads, just like that. And bring those down, and I'm going to pick up that one doesn't seem to have a hole over here. A gold 2mm, a red 6/0, and a gold round again. If I can get it on the needle. Sometimes it's hard to see what I'm doing with the camera in my face. And then bring all those down. And then one more time, you're going to pick up a red seed bead, a gold seed bead, a red seed bead, a gold seed bead, and a red. And that's the sequence for the first half of this. So what we've just made is one side going all the way down to that point. So what we need to do is pick up, here's our first one, we're going to pick up our second one that we've already made, and we're going to find one of the loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go through the 5th seed bead in the loop, if I can get it in there. There we go. I don't know if you can see that. Don't get the thread's tangled up anywhere. So let me zoom out a little bit and so you can see what I've got going here. So we've got the top here that we started with, the 5 seed beads, the 3 rounds, 5 seed beads, the focal bead, 5 seed beads, 3 rounds, 5 seed beads, and the bottom. Okay, so for the return, back up the top, we're going to pick up the same sequence very nearly. So to start with, we need the same sequence as before, so a red, a gold, a red, oops, a red, a gold, and a red seed bead. Let me zoom in a little bit. And now I'm going to go up through the 2 gold rounds and the red 6/0 seed bead in the middle, just like that. Pick those up and pull everything down. So you get this. You see that? I'm exiting that gold round right there. So I'm going to pick up a red seed bead again, a gold, a red, and a gold. We're actually going to stop at the gold and not pick up the last red seed bead, just for the simple fact that this is a star and there is not a lot of space in here for 2 seed beads. So I'm going to actually go up through this seed bead right there and the star, my focal bead. This won't be necessary for anybody who's using a different shaped focal bead, but because mine has got that recessed area right there, there isn't a lot of room, so I'm doing it this way. So go ahead and pull your thread. Don't get it tangled on the mat like I keep doing. Pull it, and then just make sure you pull it nice and tight all the way. So we're exiting the focal bead right here, and I'm going to pick up a red seed bead, which, I'm sorry you can't see that, red seed bead, a gold, a red, a gold, and the final red of this sequence. So you got the 5. You're going to go up through the next gold round and go through the gold round, the red seed 6/0 seed bead, and the next gold round. You're going to pass through all 3 of those. And pardon the background noise. It sounds like my washer might be a little out of balance there. Seems to do that every time I wash towels. Alright, pull your thread, give it a nice little tug to make sure everything's nice and straight, and this is what we have. Make sure it's tight. So you got the 2 rows there, 2 there, and 2 there. So we're on our last one right here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Alright, so we're going to pick up, once again, the red, the gold, the red, and the gold, it's just one, and the last red. So once again you have 5 seed beads. Red, gold, red, gold, red. Pull them down, and now look at your beginning. And you're going to pass through that same seed bead you started in on the beginning circle. And that loop, the 5th seed bead of that 9 loop at the beginning. And you just want to make sure you're going into the opposite side that you were exiting from before. So it makes a nice loop. And pull that down. Give everything a nice, good, tight pull. And now you're actually going to pass through. Let's see if I can focus. Come on. Yeah. Pass through the rest of the seed beads in the loop and the connector one in the middle. So you've got, so in my case, I'm passing through a red, a gold, a red, a gold, and a red. And here is where you might want to make a single half hitch or half of a half hitch. Not just to make sure it's nice and secure. Mine tends to pull out, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pass through. Hopefully you can see that. Make a bit of a loop. And just pass my thread through that. My needle through that, sorry. And make sure, sorry about that, make sure it's coming in between. And doesn't jump like it mine just did. I'll be right back. Alright, come back. Sorry about that. This is what I have. And I put that little knot right in there. Alright, now you're just going to pass through the next the next 5. So 1, 2, a gold, a red, a gold, a red, and a gold. So you're coming out bead number 5 of the next loop. And pull it down. Careful not to get your threads tangled like I just did. Pull it down, and now you're exiting the next spot. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up your same seed beads and rounds, focal beads, this the exact same way, and you're going to match up the top with the bottoms. So we're at this loop, we're going to go to this loop and find bead number 5. And you're going to repeat that for the rest of the round. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Alright, once you've gone all the way around the cage, adding all your drop down the focal beads, you're going to add your last one, your last set of beads. Remembering that our pattern get to focus is 5 seed beads, a gold round, a red 6/0 seed bead, another gold round, and 5 11/0, the focal bead, 5 more 11/0, a gold round, a 6/0 seed bead, it's red, a gold round, and 5 more 11/0. You're going to take your needle and you're going to pass through the last loop of 9 seed beads on the bottom motif that we made earlier, and you're going to pass through the 5th bead. In my case it is a gold, and you're going to go ahead and pull that up. Now before you pull it all the way tight, you're going to go ahead and insert your gold bauble. by putting the cap through the hole that we have in the top motif. You're just going to carefully inch your way around, and then you go ahead and pull the last set of beads up. You'll have this. Now we're going to do as we've done before and pass all the way back up again, adding beads, seed beads as we go. So we're going to pick up a red 11, a gold 11, a red, a gold, and one last red. So you have that on your needle. And if you'll notice, I'm using kind of the bigger 11 knots. That's just to make sure that this fits. With the 11 knots being Czech beads rather than, say, Miyuki's, they're not going to be very consistent in their size. So I needed larger ones to finish. So now I am passing my needle through the 3 rounds in the middle. I'm pulling that snug. Then I'm going to pick up, if you'll remember, this one is a little bit different from the other sets. I'm going to pick up a red, gold, and red, and gold, because this area is convex and we need to, or concave, I'm sorry, and we need to be able to fit them in. So instead of going straight through the star focal bead, we're going to go through the last red seed bead in the line. If I can get it. And then the star, and out the top. And I'll just pull that all down and make sure it's not tangled up like mine is. And give it a nice tug. And so far that's what we have. Then I'm going to pick up the sequence again, and again I'm looking for the larger 11 knots that I can find, just because it was a little tight when I tested it earlier. So a red, a gold, a red, a gold, and a red. Pass up through the 3 larger beads, the rounds, trying not to catch that last seed bead. And then we're going to pick up the last sequence. A red, that gold doesn't have a, pull all the way through, so let's find a different one. A gold, a red, a gold, and a red. And we're going to pass through the opposite way and drop the red. Hold on. There we go. Bring those down. We're coming out this side of the gold in the beginning loop, so we need to go in its opposite side. And this is going to be a little tricky, and I might need to pause the video here. Alright. And I'm going to continue all the way around until I'm coming out the red connector. Seed bead right there. And I'll meet right back with you. Alright, now that I'm coming out the red connector, I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot by passing under that area right there, the thread bridge, making a loop, passing my thread through it, making sure that my thread is coming out the right place and not getting hooked up on anything. Make sure you got everything pulled nice and snug before you tighten down. And that's what you have. Now this, you can tie more knots and thread and needle your way through to fasten your thread in securely. Or if you'd like, you can keep watching and I'll show you how to embellish this just a little bit more. Alright, I am exiting this red connector at the top of my bauble, and I'm going to add another line of beads going from the top motif to the bottom motif. To do that, I'm exiting a red, so I'm going to start with a gold 11-aught, pick up a red, maybe, a gold, a red, a gold. Now if you'll remember from before, we had 5, but I'm actually going to do 7 because this is a little bit longer space going from the top to the bottom than it was on this, from the bottom of this loop to the top of that loop. There's a little bit more space and I need to fill that up. So I'm going to pick up yet another gold, another red, and finally one more gold. Right, so here's what I have. I have 7 11-aughts, alternating gold, red, gold, red. Then I'm going to go and pick up a red 6-aught, a gold round, and a red 6-aught. And then I'm going to make a big mess. Alright, I'm back after making my big mess. And here's what I have so far. The 7. There's one. There we go. The 7 11-aughts, a 6-aught red, a gold round, and a 6-aught red. I'm going to pick up 7 more seed beads, starting with a gold, a red, a gold, a red, a gold, a red, and a final gold. So I have 7 more. I'm going to slide those down and just test to see how we're doing. And pick up a red 6/0, a gold round, and another red 6/0. I'm going to pick up a gold, a red, a gold, a red, a gold, a red, and a gold if I can get it. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have enough to get all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to pick up again. Red, 6/0, a gold round, and a red 6/0. And I'm going to pick up my last 5, or last 7, I'm sorry, seed beads. So a gold, a red, a gold, a red, a gold, a red, oh I'm sorry, and a gold. 11 up. And now I'm just going to test to make sure that these reach to the bottom. Here's the top, to the bottom red connector. And they do. And there are 2 seed beads long, too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some that are a little smaller than the ones I had used at the very end there. And I'll be right back. Alright, I found some slightly smaller seed beads. And now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through the connector right there. And this is what you have. I'm going to pass all the way through all those beads and all the way back up to the top. Alright, now that I've passed all the way back through, I'm going to give that a nice tug and pull everything tight. It looks like that. I'm going to pass through the connector in the same way I had done before. So you're entering the opposite side you were exiting. Pass through, make sure everything's nice and tight. And this is what you have. You can add a knot right here so this one won't come loose. And then needle your way around to the next red connector and do the same. And you're going to repeat with every segment around the bauble. And when you get to the last one, I'll be back. Alright. I've gone all the way around my bauble. And I'm on my last section. Okay. And I'm going to pick up the same beads in the same order as I've been doing all along. I just want to remind you that you're going to want to check the length of your beaded section just to make sure that it fits on every single one, because these seed beads are not very uniform in size. So I'm just picking them up the same order, 7 11 knots, and pull it down, starting with the gold. Then I'm going to pick up a red 6/0, a gold round, and a red 6/0. And I've been saying 2 millimeters, but they're 4 millimeters. I'm sorry about that. Those are 4 millimeter round. And I'm going to go back and pick up again my gold, my red, my gold, my red, my gold, and a red, and a final gold. Bead, pull them down. I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I go over here and pick up a 6/0 red, a 4 millimeter gold round, and another 6/0 red. And I am constantly checking the length of this to make sure that I have the right length. Back to the 11s, so gold, red, gold, red, gold, red, gold. Back to the 6/0, the gold round, and the 6/0 again. Now I'm going to double check before I put my last section, just to see how long I need. Pick up a gold, a red, a gold, a red, a gold, a red and a gold. So you have a total of 4 sections of 7 11-aught beads, seed beads, and 3 sections that have the bigger beads. And you just want to double check. And that looks good. You're going to pass your needle through the connector, red seed bead, which I'm having trouble finding it. There it is. Pull it tight. That's what you have. Now you're going to take your needle and you're going to pass through all those beads back to the top. Alright, once you're back at the top, you're going to pass your needle through the seed bead, red seed bead that we were coming out of in the first place. Pull it through, and give it a nice pull. Now you're going to wend your way, needle your way through, tying knots as you go, and then that's it, and we're done. I'll be right back to show you how to make the beaded ornament hanger. Right, I'm back. I went ahead and tied off my thread and clipped it. And here's what I have so far. Now to make a beaded ornament hanger, you're going to get your 6-pound fire line again, and you're going to pull off at least twice as much, better yet 3 times as much as the length of hanger you're going to want to make. So I'm going to pull off a good, probably about a yard, maybe a little bit more, and thread that on my needle. The reason we want to do that is because we're going to pass through these beads that we add on 3 times. At least twice, but 3 times is better. That way you don't have too much wear and tear. It won't fall apart on you. I'm going to thread my needle off camera, sorry, because I can't really see. Alright, I've threaded on quite a long length of fire line, and I'm going to put a stop bead on this. Basically, a stop bead is a bead that you're going to use that isn't part of your pattern. I'm just going to bring that down to the end and pass my way through it again. That. Right, camera will focus. And I'm going to pass through it one more time. And I'm leaving a bit of a tail, just long enough that I can hold on to it while I tie a knot here when I get the number I want. Alright, so I am going to use my 11-aught gold and my 6-aught reds, and I'm just going to alternate, so gold, red, and I'm going to keep going until I have about the length I want. And it doesn't matter on these which ones you use, if they're a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, we're just gonna keep adding on until we get a length of hanger that'll be big enough to go on your own personal Christmas tree branch. And because this is really boring, I'll be back when I have mine the length I want it. Alright, I'm back, and I actually used 30 of each, of the 6/0 and the 11/0. And just for reference, mine measures just a little over 5 inches, about 5.5 inches, which is about 13.5 centimeters for those of you who use metric. Alright, so now that I've got these all strung on, I need to pass my needle through the top of that cap, through the hole, before I tie it off. So I'm going to pass that through. I'm going to come back to the beginning. I'm going to skip my stop bead. And I'm actually going to go and pass all the way through all 30 reds and 30 golds. So all 60 beads. Go all the way around. Then I'm going to tie a knot and pass one more time. And I'll meet you back. And there it is, complete. I hope you liked this project. Go ahead and rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.